And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and it is Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for all the toy news, action figure news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interested you in a big week of toy news this week. I think I got 3 pages of notes. What the heck is going on? A lot of stuff to dive into today. Controversy galore, even a couple of conspiracies along the way. So stay tuned for that. But of course, a little housekeeping to start things off. Got to thank jaystoysandgames.com for sponsoring the video this week. Shout out to them over there. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 15% all in-stock items. Got to get a deal if there ever was one. And if you want to sponsor Toy News of the Week, weekly purchases, or any video on the channel, reach out to me. How about that? How about that? But of course, also talking Patreon, we're in the month of March, the 5-year anniversary month of this very YouTube channel. Patreon giveaway this month. It is Sting, the Supreme Edition. It's Sting from Jazzwares, of course, the Walmart exclusive. So if you want to be part of that, check out the Patreon, of course. And we're getting closer and closer every single day to 50,000 subscribers. Yes, 50,000 subscribers. And if we can get there, we're going to do 5 giveaways around that. Very end of the month, we're going to do a special 5-year anniversary video, so stay tuned to that. That should be a fun one. A lot of twists, a lot of surprises, a lot of cool announcements to come this month as well for this channel, and I guess the other channel too. 2 channels. Make sure you subscribe to both of them while you're at it. Make sure you subscribe to this one and follow me on social media so you can be a part of these giveaways as well. But this week, we're talking dragons. We're talking about 6 fingers. Yeah, 6 fingers. We're talking about that. We're talking about wrestling, and we're talking about cocks and more.
No, this didn't happen. No,
let's dive into Mattel reveal this week. Quite the experience, Mattel reveal. Now, I was deep in the heart of Wisconsin, fighting blizzards, all that stuff, so I didn't get to watch the revealed, unfortunately, when it dropped. I wish I could have, but you know, the day job takes precedence. That's just the way it goes, of course. But we did see Mattel revealed, and we're going to start with the WWE portion of that. We'll talk Heman in this video as well. But they did put up the very first ever 2-pack for WWE Superstars. It is, of course, Dusty Rhodes and Cody Rhodes. Somebody over there at Mattel must be a Patreon member, getting my top 10 superstars video a little bit earlier, seeing that Dusty Rhodes was on that list there. But very cool. The Superstars line, a favorite line of mine. And like I said, we did a top 10 most wanted superstars video on the channel in honor of 49,000 subscribers this week. But I love the Superstars. You probably do as well. We're all sick of the frustrations trying to collect that line. There's no doubt about that. I was out on the road, like I said, Wisconsin this week, saw all kinds of crazy stuff in the Superstars varieties, stuff I've never seen in my area out in the wilds of Wisconsin, so shout out to Wisconsin, of course. But a lot going on with the Superstars line, but maybe it'll get easier if they do go to the Mattel Creations, but at least as of right now, this 2-pack of Mattel Creations exclusive, I grabbed 2 of those for my collection. Be very interesting to see what happens in the future. Could this be how we'll get Demolition in the future? Could we get some other tag teams? Going to be interesting. Another interesting thing is the Cody Rhodes being included here. Does that open the door to more current talent? Personally, I prefer not current talent. This kind of works with the father-son 2-pack. A lot of answers, hopefully here around WrestleMania timeframe for the Superstars line. But a pretty cool announcement, all things considered, right there. We also saw 3 new Ultimate Editions, first time announced on the stream. We knew that was going to happen. We didn't know what it was going to be, but we knew we were going to hear some Ultimates. No Coliseum Collection news, so I guess they're saving that for WrestleMania. We'll have to stay tuned to that as well. But we did see a CM Punk Ultimate ECW CM Punk. Pretty cool, especially that t-shirt there reminds me of the Jakks Ruthless Aggression days. Can't wait to compare those in a video in the future. Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump. Pretty cool to get that Ultimate from the Nitro stage that we never got kind of reimagined into this one with the red trunks. I'm here for that. I love Big Papa Pump. Now I just need a tiger to go with him, so we'll stay tuned for that as well. We also got The Undertaker, Phantom of The Undertaker. Of course, had elites of that one in the past. Now we're getting that in the Ultimate line. I believe a Target exclusive, if I'm not mistaken there. So pretty cool there. And a lot of this stuff will also be sold on Mattel Creations. So for those that can't get to their Targets, Walmarts, a lot of these exclusives, of course, going to Creations as well. Very excited for the new Retro 4-pack. I'm more excited about this set, obviously, because of one, we'll talk about it. than some of the last couple of sets here, but we got the next 4-pack coming. We got King Harley Race. That makes a lot of sense to me. That fits in there. We get Virgil. Now, we did get Wrestling Virgil back in the day, which I like that one in my collection, but this is Bodyguard Virgil to go with our Ted DiBiase. This will be pretty cool to have as well. We did, of course, see Bobby the Brain Heenan, a guy we needed a retro from Hasbro back in the day. We never did get. Mattel finally stepping up. Very similar to the Epic Toys one. We recently unboxed 2 of those on the channel. Check out those videos if you missed it. But I can see some people saying, man, I got the Epic Toy one. Now what do I do? Which way do I go? I guess we'll see what happens there in the future as well. And then last but certainly not least, I'm here for an Ultimate Warrior, and we're getting another retro Ultimate Warrior, but we're going way back to his IC title run. We're getting a blue Trunks Warrior, definitely different, definitely the infancy of Ultimate Warrior mania, around the time frame where I first started to be an Ultimate Warrior fan as a little kid, so I'm very excited to get that one. You know I'm here for all the Warriors, so another great retro 4-pack. But that was pretty much it for reveal. They only had like 15 minutes, so they weren't going to give us everything. A lot of stuff is coming here in a few weeks with WrestleMania. That's going to be a busy one. That'll be a toy news video all on its own, as we do know. And then even more stuff possibly at San Diego Comic-Con later in the year. So a lot of wrestling news to come in the next couple of months. But we're done with Mattel this week. March 13th, a week from Friday as I'm filming this right now. Walmart Collectors Con around the corner. We do got the latest and greatest Monday Night Wars set going up. We're going to see Albert in that set. We're going to see Jerry the King Lawler. We're going to see NWO Hulk Hogan. We're going to see the Great Muta, and of course Build-A-Figure Ted DiBiase, a part of that. I talked a little bit about that in my SummerSlam Elite line William Regal Build-A-Figure review, kind of my plans with that, so check out that video if you haven't already, depending if you're a Patreon member or not. We also saw that clear John Cena. We talked about that when it was announced. My gut said it was going to be a Walmart or Target exclusive. Looks like this one will be a Walmart exclusive. Could the Gangster Cena end up being a Target exclusive? That's kind of how my mind goes right there. So some cool stuff coming for WWE. And like I said, a lot more info in the future there. But now how about we move over to AEW? A lot of AEW wrestling figure news this week. We did hear about the Cope. Oh yeah, call him Cope. He doesn't like to be called Edge anymore. Adam Copeland, Christian Cage 2-pack. That'll be a pretty cool one there. Obviously Edge and Christian go together like peanut butter and jelly throughout the years. But that's going to be a Target 2-pack. I would assume very similar to the Moxley MJF one we got last summer or so. So we got another one of those coming. Speaking of Adam Copeland, we didn't show it last week in our toy news from Toy Fair, but we did see an Edge. How about Adam Copeland? It's going to be hard to get used to. It was hard enough to get used to Adam Copeland from Edge. Now we got to start calling him Cope. It's getting confusing. But we did see the regular edition where we saw the Chase Rare edition last week. Here's the rare edition, this one. We did see at Toy Fair, they did unleash the vault. They opened the vault up, and what came out, it was Orange Cassidy Sketch Edition. Todd went farther from the couch. A tough couple of weeks. We got a lot of Todd talk later on in this video, of course. But Todd, I saw that Sketch Edition. Always interesting with these Sketch Editions. Todd's the master of the Sketch Edition. So how do you feel about this Orange Cassidy? Oh, you're going to sue? Well, I got a lawyer.
Hi, I'm attorney at law Zach Wild, and I'm here to fight for you.
But I wouldn't get too worked up about it, Todd. It's a Vault exclusive. It's a Vault. Todd's on edge. He's on edge of the couch. He's on the edge of his toenails with his toes as well. But we do got that FTR coming as well from the Vault. Thankfully, not Sketch Edition this time, Todd. But this could be the FTR we've been finally waiting for. It looks like they might be the next Vault exclusive after Orange Cassidy. We'll see what happens right there. We also heard this week, Will Ospreay. Remember when we ordered that like a year ago? It feels like 10 years ago, but maybe it was 8 months ago. What is time, as we always do say, but that one is shipping. They said, hey, it's been a while. Update your address. They're shipping next week, so I'll have my Ospreays coming very, very soon. Should blow away the last one with a little bit more extra accessories with this one, so that should be a pretty good one. And then last but certainly not least, goes up on Walmart as kind of a surprise. And guess what? Shipped that same day, already in hand. That is a pretty cool thing. It is Ricky Starks. What? Ricky Saints? Todd, you've been following the NXT lately? You've heard the chatter. He's heard the buzz. He's heard the chatter. But Ricky Starks coming, Walmart exclusive. Kenny Omega, Walmart exclusive as well. So both those figures up on Walmart, shipping right away. Not sure if they're sold out right now, but Did get mine, so that's a good day at the office, I will say right there. Moving on to more wrestling here. A lot of wrestling this week as well. Big Rubber guys are coming, and we mentioned it last week. The new series supposed to be shipping at the end of 2025. It's going to be Bruiser Brody. That could absolutely be an all-timer from the Big Rubber guys line. We do get the Islanders coming, and for me, I'm not a huge fan of the Haku. Now, I love the throwback to what Haku was supposed to be back in the day. It's kind of like the Sergeant Slaughter, how they had that promo image. I guess they even had the prototype. Matt Cardona owns it. They did show that Sergeant Slaughter way back, and they made kind of a replica, and I guess that's what they're doing with Haku right here, but it's in the same body position of the Haku. I want to say that everybody got, but very few people, of course, have that original Haku, and they're going to repaint this one as King Haku in the future. Not sure how I feel. I really would have liked to seen Haku in a different body position, personally, but it's just what it is, and I know not everybody that collects LJNs had a chance at that Haku. It's a pricey boy. I get all that, so I guess maybe that's the reason they went down that road. But we got two Hakus coming in the future. We got the Islanders one, and I think the other one's going to be like a wrestling collector shop exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. And then last but certainly not least, one of my all-time favorites, Kerry Von Erich, the Texas Tornado. Even that one I have some gripes with, and I'm not a complainer because I still enjoy this stuff. But personally, when I think of Kerry Von Erich, I would have liked to seen him in like getting ready to do the discus punch. He's kind of in like a double punch position. I would have liked to see him firing this one back for the punch, or have him in the claw, like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's LJN. I would like to see the claw ready to go for that one. Maybe we're going to get other ones in the future. Maybe we're going to get Kevin Von Erich in the future. Maybe he'll have the claw hand going on. Would like to have seen something like that. Also, purple, not my favorite. I don't think of Kerry Von Erich in the purple for whatever reason. Would have loved to have seen him in white with the beautiful hot dog tan. The red is what I think of him, even the black and the blue sometimes. Purple, I just don't think of that much, but it is what it is. Wouldn't be shocked to see more Kerry Von Erichs in the future, though. So very, very cool set coming there. We also mentioned it last week. It does look like they're going to have a ring for their Major All-Stars, Major Bendies. It is a reimagined, remanufactured MLW ring that was going around for a while. And I don't get too worked up about that. I don't feel there's a conspiracy there because ring reuse is pretty old. We saw that with the LJN ring being reused in Jakks way many years later. OSFTM used those rings multiple times between ECW, WCW. I don't get too worked up about that. So I think that's a good one. Obviously keeps the cost down for the Major Bendies crew. Works for everybody. I think it's a win-win if you ask me. But now we got to dive into an old friend of the channel, as we got a little conspiracy.
You ever wonder if they're watching your every move? Cell phones, internet, surveillance. Think about it.
And what is that conspiracy, you may ask? Well, of course it's Power Town, guys. Oh, Todd, he's over Power Town. He's over. You're over it? You say, yeah, I get it. Todd, we're going to talk about it in a little bit. Todd says, man, they do the exact opposite of what my company does. And he's kind of right in a lot of instances, but it looks like Power Town was at Toy Fair. So kudos to them for showing up over there. Obviously, if you're going to start getting in the game and start getting your wares out there, you got to be at a thing like Toy Fair. So Power Town making moves there. And the biggest thing that came out of that, I guess, was that we saw the Ultra Series 1 looking to be repackaged in new packaging without the flap, basically. So I have no idea what that means. I don't understand that at all. I wish they would have took the time instead of doing that to get some of these pre-orders out our way. It would have been nice. They did update their website this week, said Remco's shipping soon. Well, that's the same message we've seen for the last 6 months or so, year or so. I guess it's over a year. I pre-ordered those over a year ago, those Remco's. But we've had the same update, I guess, since the beginning of the year for Remco. So shipping soon. Could we see those in March? I don't know. And then it does say shipping in April, Ultras Series 2 and TNA. I just don't know how that could possibly be happening because we saw this picture at Toy Fair. They didn't even show off prototypes. They didn't show off inboxed images. You have to think with April, yes, April being less than a month away at this point, they would have had packaged images there at Toy Fair to show off. So if they haven't even got those yet, what are the odds we're going to get those figures in our hands by the end of April? You got a little less than 2 months to make that happen. They said April. It could be the last day of April, I guess. But man, oh man, what is going on over there? I just cannot figure it out. It just blows my mind. It really blows my mind. But I hope we see those Remcos this month. We got to know, though, you saw it with the Matt and Brian. They're on the boat, you know, they're here, whatever they said on there. Well, it was 2 or 3 weeks before everybody had theirs, maybe even a month. So even if they start shipping right now, not everybody's going to have their Remcos in the month of March. It's just not going to happen. And it sounds like, are they on the boat? Have they even got there yet? There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on right there. I don't know what to think about this Power Town conspiracy. I just hope they can right the ship on this. I hope they can really fix things. But man, oh man, that newest update saying Ultra Series 2 TNA in April just seems like it's absolutely wild. But man, for my money and my sanity, I'm hoping they ship. I'm hoping they ship. So we'll stay tuned to that. Maybe.
Are you kidding me?
Diving into some more wrestling news this week. Good friend of the channel, KWK. You guys know me. I'm a pretty good champion of that brand over there. I've really enjoyed the Minotaur figure, especially the Max Moon. Some of the other ones we've unboxed on the channel. Making a lot of moves over there at KWK. Rumors going around. He's bought a factory. How did he get these prices so cheap? Well, I don't know if he bought a factory or not. My business hat says he probably didn't buy a factory, as I have to imagine that's pretty expensive with all the employees and everything else going on. But I do think he does live, of course, over there, in China and stuff. So they do have access and a little easier access to factories and some mover and shakers than maybe people do have in the United States. I think that's a fair assumption there. But $14.99 for the Max Moons is a slam dunk. I'd recommend everybody to buy at least one of these figures. Check them out for yourself. You're really not out that much at $14.99. And this is one of those things where, how did he get the price so low? To me, you probably had to order at least 10,000 units. And can you sell 10,000 Max Moons? I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see where this goes in the future. But I guess we know the future is now like a young Dippin' Dots, as we did see Ox Baker this week. 4 different versions of Ox Baker. Of course, watch out for that dreaded Heart Punch. That's what I know him mostly for, of course, before my time. I'm here for classic guys like that. But Ox Baker is a cool looking one. Those eyebrows, absolutely wild on him as well. But should be interested to see how that one sells. I believe those are going to be about $15.99 each, but there's 4 versions of Ox Baker. I don't know if everybody needs 4 versions. We'll see what happens there. Same thing with Barry Horowitz. Let's just pat ourselves on the back. Barry Horowitz coming to KWK, 4 different versions. Once again, sounds like $15.99 or so price point on that one. So we'll stay tuned, see what happens there. We also got the announcement from KWK that John Nord, aka the Berserker, coming to the line. We knew that was coming a while back. Saw some images of that one for the first time. Does sound like this one will be about a $30 price point because it has all these extra accessories with it. So it's more of a deluxe figure, I guess we would call it at that point. But does look pretty cool, all things considered. Be very cool to compare that one to the Berserker of the Hasbro days as well. And then we do know the rest of the year, we got the Orient Express, we got Well Done, we got Bull Nakano, we got Flash Funk. Of course, the Max Moon, Ox Baker, Barry Horowitz coming. So a lot of stuff coming around the corner from KWK. So be interested to see where they go the rest of this year into next year. Can't wait to see how this goes. And loving that cheap price point. A lot of people said they want them cheaper. Well, you're not going to get cheaper than this. It'll be interesting to see how the competition fares against that $14.99 price point, or if they just move along or they try to drop their prices down. Going to be interested to see where that goes. We'll put on our business hat and stay tuned for that. But we're not done. And we're not done talking Barry Horowitz. Apparently Epic Toys has Barry Horowitz coming as well. So be interested to see, can the market sustain 5 Barry Horowitz figures within a year time? I mean, after not having one for 30 plus years, going to be interested to see where that goes with Epic Toys. We also saw Title Run Toys showing off Ernest the Cat Miller once again. I'm ready for those Title Run toy figures to come in hand. We just see a lot of images and stuff. Let's get some of this stuff in hand. But Ernest the Cat Miller's there. Wish it had a little bit more pizzazz to it, in all honesty. But it'll be his first ever figure. So I think that is always cool to see a wrestling persona that we've known forever get their very first figure. So cool enough right there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Stop the clock. Some late breaking wrestling news here as I finish up the toy news. Moving on to other things, but I got to dial it back a little bit. Ringside Collectibles, good friends of the channel. Of course, use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. They did put up for pre-order $45.99 another Jazzwares Jeff Hardy. I guess they're going to milk it for every dollar they can get out of Jeff Hardy. But we do got a very cool one, a glow blacklight one, where apparently you put batteries in the package, so mint on card, it'll glow in the package. Gotta say, and we've said it numerous times on the channel over the last couple of years, Jazzwares team does a fabulous job in the packaging of these exclusive figures. This Jeff Hardy looks to be another slam dunk one there. So if you're after that, head over to Ringside, use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10%. But now, as Rob Halford always says,
message from Rob Halford of Judas Priest.
Step on the red, cross on the green, never take a ride in a stranger's machine, and always make sure you're burning on turbo power.
Yeah, thanks, Rob Halford. And I think that's exactly what we're doing with Hasbro CEO Chris Cox. Yes, we're talking cock here today on the channel. Big cocks, little cocks on over there, right? But Chris Cox, friend of yours? You're friends with anybody named Cox. I get it. I get that, Todd McFarlane over there. Cock-a-doodle-doo to you too, Todd McFarlane. But there was an interview with Hasbro CEO Chris Cox this week, and there was a lot of jibber-jabber in there, some prophecies for the future. We'll see where some of that nets out. But the thing that caught my ear and my eyes, of course, a cock always catching my eye, as we all know, we did see that he said, or we did read that he said, that his favorite toy growing up was the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier. So now we know he's in a whole nother level. Well, he's in a whole nother level. He had the aircraft carrier. What? Yeah, I had the aircraft carrier too, but my dad was a real one. He's a real one, my dad. He understands this game. He wanted to get in the weeds, where a lot of parents, when you're a kid, they bought you stuff to shut you up. My dad actually cared about these things. So there was a difference. But, you know, the mama cock over there, she might have liked him a lot and said, you know what, this little cock over here, he needs the aircraft carrier. Maybe that's what happened to that CEO. I don't know. I'll ask him if I ever meet him. We'll see what happens. But Chris Cox did say he wants that aircraft carrier, and he's challenging his design team and all this kind of stuff, which is just absolutely ridiculous to me, because guess what, dude? You're the CEO. The buck stops with you. For good or for bad, you make the decisions. You steer that ship. You're going to take your advice from your people. Like I always say, you know what? If my boss tells me to do something, I'm going to say, well, here's why I can't, or why I can, or whatever. And at the end of the day, my boss says, Kyle, thanks for your input. I like what you did there, but we're going to do it my way. I'd say, well, you know what? That's my boss, and that's what they're telling me to do, so that's what I'm going to do. But I gave my 2 cents, my recommendation. And for Chris Cox to say this is like, wait a minute, you're just throwing your team under the bus, basically, because you know they can only do it with your approval, senior level approval. Because I got to imagine the team over there at Classified, they're like, sure, I can do the aircraft carrier. I'm all in. It's not like he's coming down to the office, guys, are you guys home? It's Cox here. And they're gonna be like, oh, come in, whatever. It's the CEO. They're bowing down. They're doing all that kind of stuff. He said, get that aircraft carrier made. Guess what? They're gonna get that aircraft carrier made. So absolutely wild. And you know what those Saved by the Bell kids would say?
Dumb.
Stupid.
Crazy.
And that's exactly what that is. That is dumb, stupid, all points in between. If he wants it done, it gets done. But speaking of stupid stuff this week, man, I'm fired up. You know I love the G.I. Joe brand. I love the Joes. That's where I cut my action figure teeth. I wear my Joe love on my sleeve, but man, gotta say, highest of highs, lowest of lows at Toy Fair. Now, I'm an out-of-box collector, so maybe it doesn't irk me like will some of the mint-on-card ones there. But we did see the story of Six Fingers this week, as apparently mutations are happening on the Joe team here. Maybe it's an Easter egg to some of those aliens and monsters we got at the end of the 3 3/4 line. I don't know. But we saw Super 7 artwork this week with Wild Bill. Yes, that Wild Bill, one of the wildest guys. He respects a shirt like this. He had 6 fingers. 6 fingers! Then we go to the Hasbro Retro line. We see the Techno Viper. 6 fingers once again. What the heck are we doing? I haven't seen 6 fingers ever in my life, but I have seen a guy with 6 toes. There was a kid, I've told the story before, lived around the corner from me, and you know what his name was? 6 Toes. You know why they called him 6 Toes? He had 6 toes. It was a wild thing. He would show all the kids in the neighborhood. We'd be rolling up. Of course, me on my skateboard, like a young Tony Hawk, I'd roll up, and I'd say, let me see these toes. I don't believe this. I don't believe this. And sure enough, there it was. He had 6 toes just dangling, like a young Todd McFarlane. Todd, he just blew you out of the water. You only got 5 toes wiggling around down there, but he had 6 toes, and that's why they called him 6 Toes. It was the wildest thing. It was the wildest thing, but now the Joe team has been infiltrated with 6-fingered people in Wild Bill and the Techno Viper. How does that happen? Well, we know how that happens. It's AI, which is just very, very disappointing. AI, I guess it has its place. I get it. They're pushing my job all the time about some of this AI stuff. Use AI, use AI. I got this, and I got experience. I can do it right here just as easy. Maybe, maybe not, but I hate stuff like this. Use the Joe artwork. G.I. Joe, just like Masters Universe, their artwork is just, will live forever. It's an amazing artwork. Don't blow it. Don't blow it. Don't do this AI stuff. Hopefully they can get that stuff fixed before it releases, but how does that get through? I have no idea. And speaking of how no idea this artwork gets through, what are they doing to my boy Flint? Of course, the true leader of G.I. Joe. We all know this. It's not that Duke. We hate Duke. We all hate Duke, right, boys? That's one thing all three of us can agree on. Duke is not a real leader. Flint is the real leader of G.I. Joe, and here we go again. I see the comments already. You saw that G.I. Joe episode. First it goes Hawk, then it goes Duke, then it goes... Get out of here with that. I'm talking about what it takes to be a true leader. Once again, for those that don't like to listen or have stuff in their ears or maybe are deaf, and shout out to your plight of deafness, of course. Nobody wants to be deaf. I'm on my way there. Too many heavy metal concerts. But Flint is the true leader of G.I. Joe because he leads from the front line. He wouldn't do anything that anybody else wouldn't do. You got clean toilets. Flint says, you know what? I have no problem. I'll do it. I'm a team player. And that's what a true leader is. You could be a guy like Chris Cox right up there at the top of the list. Is he the true leader of Hasbro? I don't know. There's probably somebody below him. Where all these Hasbro guys are like, you know what? This is the guy we really listen to. The Cox up there, he's got his cock dangling around in his office up there. Cox, you don't know what he's doing up there, but we know this guy's the true leader, and that's who we're going to listen to. And that's where Flint goes. That's where Flint goes. That's exactly what it is. Get me off my soapbox. Get me off it. But man, Hasbro disrespecting Flint with this artwork image. What the heck is that? It is god-awful. Cover Girl, god-awful. Techno Viper, god-awful. He's got 6 fingers on one hand. It's unbelievable. So... I don't know what they're doing over there. They got to fix that real quick, and we can never see that ever again. So, worked up right there. 6 fingers, what are you doing? Unless you're the kid that lived around the corner named 6 Toes, I don't want to see any of that stuff. But if you do have 6 fingers in real life or toes, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Show me it. I'm here for all that kind of stuff. So, shout out to 6 Toes, wherever you are, wherever you may be right now. So, there you go. But... we did see this week, we did see Breaker, Target exclusive, apparently went up for pre-order. I got my pre-order in there. Crystal Ball, going to be a Walmart exclusive on the 13th. Get ready for that Walmart Collectors Con. Should be a wild ride as usual. And then this week, those 3 Retro Joes went up for pre-order, as did Snake Eyes and the Polar Bear. You know, I'm here for those creatures. That should be a fun pack as well. So those went up for pre-order. More to come later this month. I think we got another G.I. Joe days around the corner in, was it April 6th or something like that? What is time? What is dates? We'll stay tuned to it, but some Joe stuff coming, some more coming next week with Crystal Ball. Not done with Hasbro yet this week. Born Again Daredevil, have not watched that series yet. Hopefully add that to my long list of stuff to get around to, I guess, but we do got a new Matt Murdock Daredevil figure. Should be cool to see that one in person here. I think pre-order is coming up next week as well, so stay tuned to that. A little Super 7 action this week. We did see the deluxe version of Tigra and Chitara. As we see Super 7 getting the most out of their molds, re-releasing some of these things, dumbed down a little bit, not as many heads, hands, weapons, and stuff. A little cheaper price point. We're seeing the rest of the Thundercats coming. Gotta get the most out of your molds, as we do say. And it does look like the Danzig figures are starting to ship from Super 7. Pretty cool to see these. These have been a long time coming, of course. Danzig, not the easiest guy to work with, as many do know. But I will pick those up again, along the way sometime. But speaking of He-Man style figures, how about Mattel revealed? We talked WWE, now we talk Masters. Of course, one of the fanciest clubs in the universe, of course, Club Eternia. I finally got in the club, had to pay $10 admission fee. What? You guys got in for free? That's unbelievable. I don't know how that happened, but Mark and Todd getting in free to Club Grayskull. Not me. I had to pay my $9.99 under protest. I'm just sick of this stuff. They're just getting us each way, making us pay to be able to pay money to buy figures. What are we doing? Of course, there's going to say, oh, there's going to be digital things. I don't care about your digital stuff. I don't want to have a digital sword in my digital wallet. I don't want to have one. I got enough swords. I got enough going on. That's for sure. But that's what it's going to be. Here's some artwork drops for digital members. Nobody wants that. We just want our figures. I don't know. I'm speaking for myself, obviously. And you guys? All right, I'm speaking for some. I'm speaking for the room down here, of course. But I did get my Hero figure. That did go up. Sounds like we're going to get a lot more pre-Eternia figures in the future, which is probably a good move right here. Not sure how well those will do at retail. They also hinted at a future Mossman, like giant Mossman figure. That perked up my ears. I love a good Mossman or a Swamp Thing, of course, like you, Todd. You and I both love that Swamp Thing. We also saw just kind of nonchalantly there, they had Blade hanging out on the table there, of course, from the Masters Universe movie back in the day. I'm here for Blade. Give me that one. Hopefully that does ship soon. Looked like a package sample, so it looks like it could be here any day, so I'm here for that as well. But the big news was, of course, the Club Grayskull, and I don't know, I'm just not a fan of that. It just feels like too much with the price points going up. Now you're trying to make us pay money to be able to even buy the figures. There's just something wrong with that equation right there. So more on that, I guess, as we do get it in the future. And now we're moving over to Mondo, but we're not talking Mondo He-Man. We're not talking any of that. I will say tomorrow, weekly purchases, we'll talk a little Mondo Scare Glow, a little update action on that, so stay tuned. But we did see Ripster from the Street Sharks, everything coming up Street Sharks here the last couple of years. Mondo jumping in. And I got to say, I'm not a Street Sharks guy, but it looked very, very cool. I thought it looked very cool. $200 for this Street Shark though, so I'm not that big of a fan, so that's an easy pass for me. But I know some people are into the Street Sharks, and it would be a cool conversation piece in your collection, but shipping included with all of it all together, you're looking at about $200, so a pricey one, as we do know. So that's a little Mondo update, but now we got to sing a song.
I never seen you looking so gorgeous as you did tonight. I never saw you shine so bright. You were amazing.
And that song is about Beathar the Dragon. And did you guys like my little song performance back in the day? I think I was 11 or 12 years old when I sang that song. But of course, nothing so beautiful as a dragon, especially a big dragon that'll be about this tall and about this tall on the table. It's coming. It's coming. As you're watching this, pre-orders are live, or I should say the crowdfunding is live right now. 2,000 dragons needed to fund this bad boy. If they can get 2,000 people to purchase it, it will go into production. And of course, like most of these things, there is a stretch goal. So of course, you get another a couple of thousand there. If you can get it up to 4,000, you do get a skeleton, you get another figure, you get all the accessories with it, all the rigmarole, of course. If they can get to 4,000, of course, this dragon starts at $550 plus shipping. So what, $650 depending where you're at in shipping, maybe even a little bit higher. I don't know how that's going to go. We'll have to wait and see on that one there. But man, oh man, that's a rough price point. But I feel like I need one dragon in my collection, so I'm pretty sure I'll be picking this one up. Have a feeling a lot of Legion fans will. But will I go the further distance to the stretch goals, which are $150 for another wing set and figures, another $150 for a fire set and a different head and neck? Is that worth an extra $300? And of course, if they can get to 1,200 orders on both of those different tiers, you do get an extra figure with that. So hopefully, for everybody's sake, if they are getting that, hopefully everything funds, everything gets included. But you're looking right there, $550 plus $300, that's $850. Thanks, Todd McFarlane. You did it on your toes, of course you did. Plus shipping, you're about $1,000 in this set. That's a lot of money for a dragon. And all the rumors are we're gonna get more dragons in the future. So I'm leaning towards buying one dragon, but if they come out with more dragons in the future, I don't know how I could afford it or put a place for it. I don't know. I don't need a pillar of dragons in a whole room. I don't. Unless you're Ronnie James Dio and you're killing the dragon, you don't need this many dragons. That is for sure. But man, oh man, looks very, very cool. I like the looks of this one. Going to be very interesting where this one goes. March 7th through April 6th is the pre-order window, so if you're after it, you got some time as usual. But we're not done. As Jerry Reed always says, we've got a long way to go and a short time to go. Jerry Reed is not wrong. This is a long toy news here. Multiple pages of notes this week, a lot going on. This is a little bit of an asterisk, a little off the beaten path. Something we've never talked about on the channel is Minecraft. I know nothing about it. My kids dabbled for about 2 seconds and then moved on to Roblox to never return. But I've heard of Minecraft, don't really get it at all. But there's this wild Jack Black figure. It's just basically like an overweight guy action figure, which is just kind of crazy. But a big Jack Black fan back in the day for me especially. I was a very early adopter to Tenacious D. I saw Tenacious D many a times over the years in some very small venues back before anybody even knew who the heck they were. So that was a pretty fun era of my concert going experience. And of course, Tenacious D, I guess, on ice these days. I don't know if they're going to get back together or what's going to happen with them. But this Jack Black figure, absolutely wild, just looks very crazy. Looks like something you see out of a TV show or something. I don't know. But how about moving into a little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles this week? A lot going on as usual with NECA over there. They're not messing around. It's the year of Last Ronin, but other things as well. We did see listed this week a little Super Turtle action. Yeah, Super Turtle with a couple of friends, but you know me, I'm a sucker for a cape like a young Lando Calrissian, so we'll see how that ends up going. We also saw a little re-release, but they got me with that glow-in-the-dark. Once again, the glow-in-the-dark Fugitoid coming from NECA, coming very soon once again, but it is the same figure we got in the past, this time with glow-in-the-dark action, which isn't a bad deal. Then, of course, Walmart Collectors Con, we've been talking about it a few times in this video. We got Ace Duck, of course, from the Archie comics, the wrestling Ace Duck. That'll be up on the 13th, so be ready for that. And we also saw, hopefully I pronounced the name right, Chote. We're going with Chote. A Walmart exclusive there, a little reptilian action there, like something out of Land of the Lost back in the day is what it looks like. The Nickelodeon version, of course. Looking good right there. But we're not done with NECA. We saw the Metaluna Mutant solicited this week. Now we have it from Super 7 in Glow in the Dark and Regular Edition. I unboxed both of those on the channel. We're getting another Metaluna Mutant, and an amazing one that everybody seems to know this figure or this character, even though it was in this island Earth for about 50 seconds or something like that, maybe a minute. Not very long, but man, it stole a lot of hearts till this day. I'll pick that one up for sure. We also saw John Carver and Sam coming to the Ben Cooper kids, and of course get them off my lawn, but I feel like I need to go through it. I got about 20 Ben Cooper kids over here I need to unbox. I'm getting behind on my Ben Cooper kids. I feel like I already have these two, but maybe they're different. I'll have to look a little deeper into that. Nothing worse than buying a figure you already have, so we don't want to go down that road for sure. But that's it from NECA this week. But now we turn our attention to our old friend from the couch, Todd McFarlane. Todd making things happen here. It's been a couple of rough weeks for Todd McFarlane, but I guarantee you, I bet you to life, and Todd, I know you're not talking. Oh, you did this kind of thing with the zipper and threw it, but you did it with your toes in classic Todd McFarlane fashion. But Todd, I guarantee it, he's back in the office. He's making plans. He's moving and shaking. Yes, moving and shaking. He's losing all this DC revenue. He's going to replace it. I guarantee you he's going to come out swinging. You don't want a guy like Todd McFarlane backed into a cage because he's going to give you punches, dare I say, in some bunches. But Todd working hard here now. They're not losing the DC license till like middle of 2026, it sounds like. And we talked about this originally. They can still ship to that last day. So just because it's there, it's not like everything's done that day. If it's in a Target warehouse, you still got months. So theoretically, you could still see McFarlane stuff on the store shelves through late fall of 2026, if not even Christmas 2026. So make note of that for sure. And you know what? Todd losing the license, he's going to say, let's double time it. Let's get quadruple the twist ties in the action figures, and let's get an extra hustle of action figures out there. Let's double our production. Let's get the most out of the molds. Let's get the most out of our license before things expire. So be ready for variants, frostbite, sketch, translucent, glow in the dark, regular versions, store exclusives, gold labels, platinums, red platinums. They're all going to be coming fast and furious for the DC line, so stay tuned to that. But this week, we're already kind of seeing it going on. We saw this week, and this is something I miss. And I actually found both these figures in my work travels in Wisconsin this week. I found the new Dr. Fate Platinum Edition Digital, as well as the Two-Face. Found both of those. They weren't even announced at the time. So how cool is that to see figures that nobody even knew existed, basically? And as of filming this right now, we haven't heard anything from the McFarlane team that these are even a real thing. So something special about the old time ways of just finding something you didn't even know existed in the stores. That is special. That reminds me of my childhood. So that is pretty fun. But this week they did show off Dr. Fate as I'm filming this so far. They've solicited the regular edition of this Dr. Fate. And there's also been some leaked images of the regular version of the Two-Face. So once again, regular platinum editions, choose your own adventure. But pretty cool to see that one there. We also saw some more Batman from Todd McFarlane. Strange, more Batman figures. I can't believe it. But apparently Todd is going to continue to make some Batman figures. He's not just folding up shop right now and going other ways. But we did get Batman. We got Justice Lord Batman, Reuse City on this one. Don't know that guy at all. And then we got the 1 million Batman. What is that? Is that the millionth Batman figure? Are we celebrating the millionth Batman like we're celebrating the 5-year anniversary of this channel? Maybe that's what's going on. I'm not exactly sure right there. But the million Batman there, we did see leaked images of those, so right around the corner once again. But I fully expect him to step up production, get more line time, do whatever he has to keep pumping DC. And Todd said at Toy Fair, they're not necessarily done with DC. I wouldn't be shocked to see some statues from DC like we're seeing with Marvel right now. I could see him doing some ancillary things. Todd's Mods maybe will keep DC. We'll see what happens in the future there. But Todd, not done. Of course, your first love, Spawn. He's got some Spawn figures solicited this week. And I got to be honest, I love some Spawn, but I'm not familiar with these ones. Rat City Spawn. And it's kind of wild because I truly live in Rat City right now. Stay tuned tomorrow for, of course, the mailbag every week. It's a sleeper segment on this channel. A lot of people say it's their favorite thing we do on the channel now is weekly purchases where my wife comes in and we do the mailbag. But we're going to talk about Rat City. And we got some things that not not even one Bobby Blotzer would have believed back in the day. It's crazy talk, and I guess Todd's getting into the Rat City stuff too, as he has a Spawn Rat City. But like I said, stay tuned for weekly purchases tomorrow. We're going to break all that down with my wife. You're not going to believe this story. You're not going to believe it. If you saw last week's rat story, it gets trumped this week. We take it up a notch. And a lot of people said that's the zenith of the channel, Kyle. Last week's weekly purchases, talking about the rat, the funeral, all that kind of stuff. The rat suicide, let's be honest, the suicide of a rat in our house. I'm taking it another notch this week. You're not going to believe this story. It writes itself, and truth is stranger than fiction is what we're going to say. So enough about that. Stay tuned to weekly purchases tomorrow. But Spawn Rat City coming, Spawn Robot Wars. 2 passes for me. Don't even know what they are. Don't even know what they are. So got that going on. And then we talked about it last week. Mortal Kombat Classics. Todd pushing hard. Put a press release out on that. We're bringing the Mortal Kombat action back. This is the stuff Todd's going to be doubling down on. He's going to go hard on Mortal Kombat. He's going to go hard on the new Ninja Turtle IDW figures that he does have. And we're going to see more lines coming because you're going to have to replace that money from DC. There's no doubt about it. So we'll stay tuned for that as well. But I especially think Todd will have some new things. I truly believe we'll have WWE statues in the future. They're already doing it for UFC. I can see WWE ones as well. We'll see what ends up happening. We'll see what happens there. But that's it. That's the toy news. That's a lot of toy news this week, but we're not done. Now we got Album of the Week. All right, it's time for Album of the Week. And Album of the Week this week, we're cleaning off and finishing off the 4 corners of the Beatles. We did George Harrison. We did Ringo Starr. We did Paul McCartney solo albums as Album of the Week. Only fair we do a John Lennon, and John Lennon is going to be Album of the Week this week with the double album, Sometime in New York City, a favorite of mine back when I was a kid, collecting all the Beatles solo albums and everything else. Now, once again, John Lennon, I am not a huge fan of. He's my least favorite Beatle, and a lot of that has to do with the Yoko Ono stuff. There's just too much Yoko on a lot of these albums. Of course, Double Fantasy, a great album. You got Cheap Trick backing him up over there with Rick Nielsen. Check out my figure hunt this week, as I did travel to Wisconsin, and I went through Rockford, Illinois on my way up there. And what did I see? The Cheap Trick Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Got pictures with it. Check out the figure hunt this week. So a little Cheap Trick action there. But Sometime in New York City is my favorite album. Get rid of all that Yoko stuff. The album's obviously a lot better. I love the song New York City. One of my all-time favorite John Lennon songs ever is on there. Also, a song that really annoys my wife and kids, but I absolutely love it. It is John Sinclair. Those are the 2 standouts, and 2 of the standout John Lennon solo album, or solo songs, if you ask me. Very hit and miss on the Lennon albums, of course, over the years. It's just not as fun as Ringo solo albums, Paul or George for me. Not at all. There's a lot of fun stuff in those 3. John's got a lot of depressing stuff, a lot of Yoko stuff that I really do think drags his catalog down. And I'm hearing somebody out there saying, but what about Imagine? Well, imagine if John Lennon was your 4th favorite Beatle. Just imagine it. And it could happen. And that's what happened for me. So that's Album of the Week, Sometime in New York City. And that's a busy video here this week. Getting longer and longer on these toy news videos. We're going to have to cut some stuff out. Todd, I don't know, maybe. We might have to cut him out here with the DC stuff. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. But that's toy news this week. What are your thoughts? Any cool toy news you're exceptionally excited for? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're nearing closer and closer to 50,000 subscribers. And we do get there. There's going to be a lot of fun to be had. So make sure you subscribe if you have not already. And don't forget my other YouTube channel. Subscribe over there as well. Pro Wrestling Tees. Pick up a t-shirt if you want to. Patreon, of course, for early access to all the videos. Tons of stuff over there every single day. Appreciate all you Patreon members. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, and now on TikTok. So for another week of toy news, you know what I'm doing. Rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling, my way into the weekend.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?